Welcome to Jags A.M. in the PM today, our final show of the season as we get prepared for the offseason here in Jacksonville. Let's get into our big things brought to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, benefits for federal employees and retirees. We start out with the restart button. Many years it's the reset button, but this year we're just restarting things as they get ready for next season. Liam Coen talked a little bit about it.
And that was the message to the team on Monday, was extremely proud of a lot of the things that we were able to accomplish. Very proud of their response to adversity and to that 1-0 message and that next play mentality. And now the real work is here to where we have to go and reload it. We're not going to just stand here and say, man, we're just going to redo it all with all the same, because that got us 13 wins and knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. So clearly was not good enough for the full end of the season standard. But 31 other teams were having a similar conversation.
Brian, they're not going to be rebuilding everything, but it's not a run it back situation either, because you didn't get where you ultimately wanted to go, which is to the Super Bowl, of course.
Yeah, if I've learned anything in 32 years of doing this, it's that momentum doesn't carry over from one season to the next. You have building blocks like Trevor's emergence at the end of the year, but you're not going to have 31 takeaways next year. Your run defense might be good, but will it hold opponents to 85 yards rushing per game? There's going to be changes on the roster, changes to the coaching staff. So you can't just say, well, we're going to pick up where we started from or where we left off and start from there. You have to pick up at the bottom of the hill and push that boulder all the way back up to the top. It's just the way it is in today's day and age of professional football, in free agency and coaching changes.
Yeah, I think if there's a theme around this organization, it'll be what Brian just talked about. Even during the season, it's been clear that whatever's going on this season, once the offseason started, each year is going to be a very much a restart, especially now. There's going to be changes. They want to get better. And pushing the boulder back up the mountain, I don't think Brian saying it just now is the last time you're going to hear it this offseason around the Jags. That will be the main focus, Guy.
Absolutely. Let's go to our second big thing today, which is two ways about it. Obviously, we haven't seen him out on the field in a while, but Travis Hunter is going to be a main focus of this offseason and the team going into next year. James Gladstone talked about what their expectations are with him during his rehab process and going forward.
I think very fair to say that his rehab process is going as expected, and he's hitting it hard. And, obviously the joy that he brings to just the everyday operation is still something that permeates throughout the space that he enters. And beyond that, and the role that he'll play, we still expect him to play on both sides of the ball. Obviously, you can take a peek at expiring contracts on our roster and which side of the ball has more. Obviously, at this point, walking into the offseason, corner is a position that we have a few guys who are on expiring contracts. So by default, you can expect there to be a higher emphasis on his placement.
Some questions, obviously, whether Travis Hunter will still be playing on both sides of football. James Gladstone comes out and says that's their expectation for them, but also notes that there is some need in the secondary, and that may be the focus for him going forward, John.
Yeah, it's sort of common sense if you look at the depth chart, and if you saw him play, he's a high-end corner right out of the box, as they say. I'd be surprised at this point if he's not one of the main starting corners, however that looks, however you play that, meaning they might have different packages, but he's going to be there. I think the interesting thing going forward is how he fits into an offense that functioned at a very high level without him. He clearly has skills on that side of the ball. Brian, I think this big thing number 2 might be big thing number 1 for a lot of the offseason. I think it's a storyline that we don't know, and I'm not sure they know how it's going to play out yet.
No, go back to the previous answer about starting at the bottom and pushing the boulder up the hill again. I mean, they'll go into the offseason with the idea that he is a transformative player, because that's what they thought last year when they drafted him. And there's no way that their mind was changed dramatically on that issue based on 9 weeks that they had him. In fact, they believed that he was making progress, and they were excited about what was going to happen over the final half of the season. So I would expect, yes, John mentioned it, and it's just common sense. He's a high-end corner, and they have a need there, and that seems like it makes sense. But the side of it that I just keep coming back to is that this is an organization. Go back to when they signed or traded for Jacoby Myers. They said, we just want you to come in and be yourself. Just come be you. Well, Travis Hunter has said over and over he's a two-way player, and that's what he wants to be, so I do expect that he is going to be that.
Let's go to our final big thing today, which is free agents and extensions, because as we head into the offseason, there's going to be a whole bunch of free agents that need to be considered whether or not they're coming back to Jacksonville, and also some contract extensions that could happen as well. One of the big free agents is going to be running back Travis Etienne, who said he has his choice, he'd like to stay here in Jax.
Most definitely, I feel like when I got drafted here, I wanted to be one of the best running backs to ever, put on the jersey. I wanted to be remembered like the guys, Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones Jr., you had Leonard Fournette, just guys who've been here. Like, you want to set that standard, you want to live a legacy. I feel like I was able to do that at Clemson. That's why I went there to create a legacy, to leave a legacy. And I feel you got people to come and follow that now. And obviously you want to do that in the NFL, but it's just different. It's not college. It's different of how everything works, and that's the business side of it and the aspects and things that go into it that I might not ever understand, but it's not for me to understand. So I kind of just stopped trying to figure those things out and just focus on what I can do on the field and let everything else take care of itself.
Brian, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. We don't know who will stay and who they'll re-sign, but I think it is a little bit different to kind of hear these players saying, hey, I want to stay here, whether it's Travis Etienne, Trayvon Walker. These are talented players that want to stay here long term, maybe something that hasn't happened a ton with past regimes, but you're seeing the buy-in now.
Yeah, and listen, they've done a lot of work to make this a place where players wanted to be, whether it's the coaching staff they built around them or the support staff, the dining facility. I mean, everything about being in Jacksonville right now is different than it has been at any point in the past. So I can see why guys like that would want to be here. And by the way, these are guys who are core members of what you have been this season. Etienne in particular, 14 touchdowns. I would want him back. The price has got to be right, and that's what they're talking about when it comes to considerations. But being a Jacksonville Jaguar, John, is different now than it was before this season began, where people looked and said, well, what are they really? Well, Liam Coen, Tony Baselli, and James Gladstone have redefined what this franchise is, and players know that this is a place they can win.
Yeah, it's a place players want to be, and I think on Monday or Tuesday, Brian, you said, hey, this transition tag could be a possibility for Etienne. That makes a lot of sense. They need him back for what they want to do offensively. But it was interesting in the press conference when James Gladstone was talking about Trayvon Walker and being such a guy that you want around the Jaguars. He used the phrase, want to move forward with. I thought that was a key phrase with Trayvon. Let's hope, because we all like Trayvon Walker on this show.
A lot.
Let's hope that that's a thing going forward. I'd love to see that, but I think the overriding storyline is, with this success, with the vibe, the culture, whatever you call it, it's real, and the guys they keep will be guys that fit into that.
As they left the press conference, I had a very brief conversation with James Gladstone today, asking about Jaguars DNA, John, because that was such a big storyline earlier when he first came in. And I asked about Trayvon Walker, and he used the term proof of concept. In other words, the DNA is about toughness. Is there any player that better defines toughness than Trayvon Walker? The proof of concept is they asked him to play a certain way, and he did all season long.
With a broken arm and a bum knee, too. So to see what Trayvon's been able to do, we'll talk a little bit more about what these player extensions might look like. But we heard a ton from James Gladstone and Liam Coen. We'll talk about that more after the break.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
To aim higher, to go faster, to push further. It's what elite athletes do, and UF Health is built from that same DNA. We don't just treat cancer, we advance breakthrough therapies. We don't just perform heart surgery, we invent procedures used worldwide. Like top athletes, we believe human progress has no finish line. UF Health, a national medical center for Team USA.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree, it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Jags A.M. brought to you by Fields Auto Group. See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Head over to fieldsauto.com. Welcome back into Jags A.M. in the PM today as we had our press conference with the GM and the head coach, kind of wrap things up for the season, and it was about 35 minutes. I think they both talked. So a lot of little tidbits. I recommend you go to the YouTube page or jaguars.com and check out the full thing, because I think there's a lot of little bits that were in there and you can kind of pick up on and maybe look forward to things. But Brian, what was something, I think there was a soundbite that you wanted to mention that you really kind of hung with you?
Well, process is a big word. They use it in corporate settings in football, and Nick Saban has obviously used it in his illustrious career, but they talked about pride and process. And here's James Gladstone with his thoughts on it.
When you think back to 2024, there was plenty of talent to keep, close games. But we needed to raise the floor and inject intangibles into the football team so that we could close games. And to be able to see that come to fruition is certainly something that we can take some pride in. And really what was so great is Liam's message was absorbed by our players. It was believed by our players, but it was going 1-0. And, to be able to say, hey, looking right here, we need to pour in simply to our process, not worry so much about the results, and find fulfillment there, knowing that regardless of if we win a Super Bowl or if we don't, that ball is rolling back down to the bottom of the hill and we got to start all the way over.
So whether it's Saban or whether it's Coen and Gladstone, the bottom line here is that they were focused on how they did things and doing things the right way for the right reason and trusting that the results would come. They didn't lean too heavily on what the results were. Now, the results were really good this year. 13 wins, only 4 losses in the regular season. They, every single week, focused on doing the same thing the same way, because that, Kai, is how they measured their success. And we were all here last year. We know it wasn't that way. The process that they put in place, they can now count on, John, going forward into 2026 as being proven. And if they continue to do things those way, the results will continue to come.
Yeah, the culture's set. I mean, and when I say the culture's set, that doesn't mean the roster's set. It doesn't mean that everything is great because you went 13-4 this year. But there's no doubt walking around this place, I think the key is you've coupled what you're talking about with the every week message that sort of stems from the EVP. This is the most important game in franchise history. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's great to be processed, but you better treat that game important and go try to win it. So I think there's a really good combination of that going on right now. And again, Brian, you and I have been around this a long time. as Trevor said on Monday, this feels sustainable. They always couch that with, it doesn't mean it is sustainable. But if we keep doing what we're doing, there's a trust that this process will eventually lead to where they want to go.
If I was going to title the process, Kai, it would be 1-0, right? I mean, he said it every single week, just one game at a time. It's only about winning one game. You can't focus on anything else. And it bore out all season long.
For me, I feel like we've talked a little bit about this, but we'll talk more as the off-season goes along. Free agency is going to be big for them this year. It was last year, but maybe their own players, whether or not they want to retain them. And one of the big names is going to be Devin Lloyd, who had an outstanding breakout season this year. And James Gladstone talked a little bit about what they've seen in their time here with Devin.
The connection between him, the coaching staff, was real. He was being deployed in the right ways. He felt confident in the ways that he was doing it from both defense and special teams. Like, you're talking about a guy that is playing at an all-pro level on defense, but is running down on kickoff every time we score and making plays for us. So extremely happy for Devin and his production this season and finding real footing in a way that aligned with what he knew he could be. Look forward to working through the off-season process with our coaching staff and everyone else to determine what's best for everybody and seeing if there's something to be done.
So I think there's a couple parts to that. Obviously, what we've seen from Devin this year has been outstanding. Coach Campanelli's gotten a lot out of the players that he had on his roster, but I think it's also interesting to kind of hear they're going to work on it, right? It's not a guarantee that he's going to come back. And John, I think there should be some emphasis in 1 year does not necessarily mean that's how they're looking forward to building the defense, because we may see a significant change on the defensive side of the football.
Look, in this league, it's year to year, and Devin and many players were great for this franchise this year. Can you re-sign them all? I've been saying for 2 or 3 months, this team has some hard decisions to make. Fans aren't going to like all the decisions. I hope Devin Lloyd's back at the position he is. The franchise tag will be tough. I think it's going to be tough to bring Devin Lloyd back. That doesn't mean he wasn't phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
It means it's going to be tough to bring him back next year.
7 takeaways, 5 interceptions. He recovered 2 fumbles. He was an excellent football player for them this year. But one thing that James Gladstone said about 3 different times in the middle of the press conference was how the defensive scheme would evolve. And that means that they always had a vision for what this defense would be. This year's defense was what they could do with the players they had. What they ultimately end up with depends on the players that they want. Can they find the guys that they want? They'll talk to Devin Lloyd, because why wouldn't you? He's an all-pro performer. But, John, I'm with you. I have a hard time seeing him back here. The position that he plays is going to be cost prohibitive. And why, if you're Devin Lloyd, would you even consider being a bargain player? You worked for 4 years to get to a point where you had a body of work that you could show. And someone's going to fall in love with that. There's a couple of teams with more than $100 million in cap room, and someone's going to come in and swoop up a 6'3", 240-pound athlete who takes the ball away.
We don't have that much money here, do we?
No, and listen, it's worth noting. There are other guys that you want to sign. I mean, maybe you want to bring ETN back. Brenton Strange is going to need a contract at some point in time. And then there's Trayvon Walker, who probably plays on his 5th-year option, but we already talked about what an important component he is. You can't keep everybody, and it's just a fact of life. The Jaguars have not had to let good players go very often. They will.
Parker Washington should be added to that list.
Absolutely.
So.
Can't forget him.
Lots of names, lots of stuff going on. Let's also talk a little bit about what this offseason will look like for the front office, because at this time last year, they were still trying to figure out who the head coach was going to be. There wasn't a GM quite yet. And James Gladstone talked about what he's going to do differently this time around.
The fact that the timeline of just the scouting cycle remaining consistent up to this point, I'm in a very similar place that I was this time last year with the draft, with pro free agency. The piece that is obviously sped up is now the understanding of our current roster, and not being forced to sort of dive into that with very little nuances and depth to it. So I think that's a really helpful piece in order to make some decisions. Now, procedurally, we incorporated new functions and mechanisms that our scouting staff and our coaching staff didn't necessarily have experience with in the past. So obviously those will be new wrinkles that we'll work in, and looking forward to seeing those unfold in real time.
So obviously, talking a little bit about that scouting process, what this is going to look like. John, the Rams organization doesn't usually go to the combine even. Right. They kind of go about things differently. So what could this offseason look like for them?
Well, I'd be surprised if the Jaguars will be represented at the combine. I don't think it'll be the entire entourage. And I think James said it how it should be said. His outward process, meaning looking at draft picks, looking at free agents, didn't really change last year. He had done all that for the Rams. He took his knowledge and he brought it here. It's fine. People working around him now have a year of knowing how he wants to do things in the offseason. Probably the biggest takeaway, Brian, when you're looking at your own roster, which he had to do, last year he had to cram for the test. He had to study, he had to go off books, and by the time free agency rolled around, I'm sure he would tell you he knew the team, but he didn't. It wasn't inside of him. Now, every guy on this roster, they've talked about in the practice field, they've talked about in October, hey, what are you thinking early on about Travis? What are you thinking early on about, I'm just naming names. So there's, going into the offseason, they all know how they feel about these guys. They have a core feel for the roster, whereas last year it was like you've been reading a book. Now they've lived it.
And then just to put an example to that, they knew that Trayvon Walker was a tough guy last year. Everyone did. Big, strong, physical, tough. He was the number 1 overall draft pick, obviously. But they have a different level of understanding and appreciation for a guy who dislocates his wrist. And if you go back and watch the play that he did that on in San Francisco, you see a guy flying across the field to make a play. And then the play where he hurt his knee, where he had the tight end and the right tackle against the Chargers and shoved him to the sideline and made a big third down stop. And then he kept trying to play. So you have a greater appreciation, feeling in your gut. You know exactly who these guys are, as opposed to who you think they are, because you watch them on tape and you talk to them. You watch them practice, you watch them in the medical room, you watch them on the road. You know intimately who the players on your team are this year, and that's a huge advantage, Kai.
Yeah, I think we all sort of feel like walking around. I consider Brenton Strange and Trayvon Walker sort of the identity of this franchise right now. They are the guys that, that's what this team wants to be. Mm-hmm. They didn't know that last year. They hoped.
Yeah.
You hope, if you look at Brenton Strange in the practice field, no TAs, you're like, boy, I hope he's what I think he is, because that's special. Mm-hmm. Well, now you've seen special. And so, yeah, I think that's everything in terms of trying to piece together a roster.
Jaguars DNA. Those two guys define it.
Seeing what it's going to be going forward as well. Stay with us here. We're going to talk a little bit about what went well this season and what they need to work on in the offseason.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
Before you break ground on any project, make sure to call 811 before you dig. Sunshine 811 is a free service to have underground utility lines marked before digging. For projects of all sizes, creating a game plan can save you time and money. Skipping the call could mean accidentally hitting underground utility lines, which can lead to injuries, expensive repairs, fines, and even service outages in your neighborhood. Let's keep everyone safe. Dial or click ahead. Find out more at peoplesgas.com/811.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast, forward together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com. GEHA.com/forwardtogether.
Federal employees keep our country going, and GEHA is proud to keep them going with health plans exclusively for them. GEHA was started by postal employees in 1937, and today they offer all federal employees a network of 1.7 million providers and a health plan for every stage of life. GEHA is trusted by millions of federal employees and retirees across the country. GEHA. Find your federal health plan at GEHA.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Finally, inventories and prices are customer friendly.
That's because summer's here, so let's keep it real at the Field Summer Sales Event.
We have vehicles on the ground and ready to go. All new makes and models to choose from, even electric cars and SUVs. Stop searching for your next luxury vehicle and see Fields first.
And get an incredible offer like this.
Right now, save up to $10,000 on remaining new 2024 Porsche models in stock at Porsche Jacksonville. Go to PorscheJacksonville.com.
For 12 years, Dreamfinders Homes have been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfinders.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags. Welcome back into Jags A.M. this afternoon, our final show of the season. We are going to talk a little bit as we look back at the season. We'll take some time after this, of course, too, but just kind of looking back, we're looking at what this team did well and what they can get better at. So better and best. Brian, when you look back at this team, what's something they can get better at, and what were they really the best at this year?
Yeah, I loved it. They talked about in the news conference today, 3 better, 3 best, and they'll have that for every individual player who comes back. 3 things that they could do better, and the 3 things they did best this year. So I chose a couple of different things. First of all, they can get better at pass protection. John, if you go back to the middle of October when the Jaguars lost to the Rams and the Seahawks, they gave up 14 sacks. They were really good early, and then 14 sacks. The quarterback was battered. Go back to December in back-to-back games against the Broncos and Colts. He was hit 22 times, even though they won those 2 games. And then if you go back and look a little bit at the game on Sunday against the Bills, there were a couple of throws, especially early on in the ball game, where it looked like a bad throw, but you could see that he couldn't step into the throw because he had somebody in his face. I think they have to be better at pass protection. And then I think that they were best at run defense. I questioned that a bit later in the year, just how good was this team. But when you go back and look what they did to Jonathan Taylor, and you look what they did to James Cook, they shut him down completely. They were the best run defense in football. It's one of the things they did best this year. It allowed them to pressure the quarterback, which they did, I think, a top 5 number, and helped create the takeaways because when they have to throw the ball, Jaguars got 22 interceptions. So I thought they can be better at pass protection, and I thought the run defense was one of the best things they did all year.
Yeah, they were outstanding run defense, and it set up everything. I think the protection, they were good running throughout the course of the year. I'm not sure they could rely on it as much as they wanted to. And I think that put them in some situations where it was harder to protect than they wanted it to be. So it all fits together. It's hard in the first year. We forget they've only been putting this plan together since March.
Yeah.
To get to 13-4 with some stuff that they knew wasn't ideal is impressive. So I went with run game and scoring offense. The run game was really good in situations when they got outside the tackles. Early on, when they could get Travis and Bashal Tootin outside, you saw it even on Sunday. They had some really good stuff. I think they would like to be able to run some of their middle stuff a lot better. I think that will be focused on the running backs and on what they've got going inside on the offense. I think that's got to get better because that will take the offense to the next level. Scoring offense, look, it was outstanding. I don't think anybody thought in week 7 that you were getting ready to look at 31, 32 points a game, only one game under 24 points the rest of the way. If they get where they want to go with the running offense, scoring offense is already really good. It's only going to get better. This is the team that's going to score a lot of points next year.
It's the best stretch of offense in Jaguars history. And I mean, for someone who's been around the whole time, I had to go back and really look at the Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, Fred Taylor days, James Stewart days, and just compare it. I mean, this was almost a field goal a game better, 27 to 24 points, or even the 99 team. So it was a remarkable run on offense. And you mentioned it, at one point they were scoring 34 points a game.
Yeah.
They did a hell of a job putting points on the board this year. And you get the sense with this quarterback that it can get a lot better.
Well, and the remarkable thing, Kai, they're still... It's hard in 1 year because you're drafting and you're waiting for guys to come along. You sign free agents. You got guys that you still sort of, hey, we want to switch this out for this. To be where they were and not really have gotten through the whole shopping list, it's going to be interesting next year.
Very, very exciting to see. I went on the defensive side of the football. For me, it was coverage and takeaways. So obviously, takeaways, I think they matched their total from the year before in the first 3 weeks. So they automatically, that was a point of pride for this defense under Anthony Campanile to have their face looking towards the quarterback and towards the ball and making plays on the ball and getting extra possessions. That helped a lot, I think, in terms of this scoring offense, is getting extra possessions for the offense from the defense. But later in the year, and maybe this wasn't an issue the entire season, but coverage was a problem in the game against the Buffalo Bills, and that's probably, if not the only factor, one of the main factors why you lost the football game. So for me, it's the miscommunication on the back end, and I think they did a great job with Jordan Lewis and Eric Murray coming in with those veteran presence. They worked a ton with Antonio Johnson and Jarian Jones and getting them to play to a higher level. But the breakdowns at points with Greg Newsome and Andrew Wingard, I think, were some of the biggest issues that we saw. When you can give up explosives like that, that's a problem, because as good as you can be on the run defense and anywhere else in the defense, if you're giving up explosives, you're basically giving back what you did for the first parts of that possession. So for me, those were the big factors, and I don't know if that's all new people, if that's working on the communications, getting people healthy. You were without Jordan Lewis late, but I think the secondary is a point of focus for sure when I'm looking at how they're going to deal with that.
We heard James Gladstone mention, if you look at our roster, he was talking about Travis Hunter in particular, but if you look at the roster, you can see expiring contract. Greg Newsome is one of those. Monteric Brown is one of those. It makes sense for Travis to sort of slot in there. You missed him. He's an elite level corner, and you had those two breakdowns in the fourth quarter in coverage, and boy.
You want them back,
yeah, you'd like those back.
And look, injuries are part of it, but I think if you looked at it from a logical point of view, you thought you were going to have Caleb Branshaw.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to have Travis Hunter. So you thought you were going to have Jordan Lewis. Yeah. If I was listing those, I think people putting together the roster would have thought those would have been three of your, top 7, 8 defense, maybe better. So I think they will probably try to add one more corner outside of the names I just mentioned. But you don't have to add a lot to get a lot better there if the guys that you were counting on come back the way you think they will.
And just a note on the takeaways, 31, second most in franchise history, one of only 4 teams, 99, 2007, 2017, and now 2025, that got more than 30 takeaways. And they were second in the league to the Bears. I mean, they had the most interceptions in the NFL this season with 22. It really was remarkable what they did. And you listed all the reasons why, but you can still change and have your face at the quarterback and not necessarily make those plays. It was a fun season to watch this defense take a dramatic turn on one of our biggest storylines from training camp.
And not insignificant in the secondary. I mentioned those 3 guys. You also this year, we talk about guys sometimes, Antonio Johnson and Jarian Jones are all of a sudden, you list those 2 guys, you list Murray, you list Jordan Lewis, Travis Hunter, and Caleb Branshaw coming back. Well, now all of a sudden you're good in the secondary. Yeah. So it's it struggled at the end because of some circumstances, but that's an area with one ad that's going to look a lot different next year.
Absolutely, something they're going to touch on, I'm sure. Stay with us. We'll tell you what is coming up the rest of the offseason here in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's own Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jaguars, just scored big, winning 2025 National Builder of the Year. And right now, Dreamfinders is running its best game plan yet, offering winning interest rate incentives and move-in ready homes available today. With 20-plus communities right here in Jacksonville and over 40 across Florida, From Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa, Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to be. Visit dreamfindershomes.com and move into your dream home today.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
To aim higher, to go faster, to push further. It's what elite athletes do, and UF Health is built from that same DNA. We don't just treat cancer, we advance breakthrough therapies. We don't just perform heart surgery, we invent procedures used worldwide. Like top athletes, we believe human progress has no finish line. UF Health, a national medical center for Team USA.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ever feel like the road is out to... Thankfully, Hyundai is always working to ensure it doesn't, with over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Now for a limited time, get 0.99% APR for 60 months on the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. Offers end February 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Hey Jaguars fans, Thrive Infusions is Jacksonville's premier med spa for hydration, recovery, and performance. Whether you visit in-spa or book mobile IV therapy right to your door, they've got you covered. Their IV vitamin infusions help with hangovers, jet lag, dehydration, and overall wellness, keeping you energized and ready to go. Plus, with treatments like M-Sculpt Neo to build muscle and burn fat, and hydrofacials for glowing, healthy skin, they'll help you look and feel your best. Visit Thrive Infusions today and keep Jacksonville thriving on and off the field. Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans. And Dailies also brings you Jags A.M. this week. It's nicer here.
Hey guys, obviously not the way we wanted that thing to end. A million different plays you look at, you want calls back, you want plays back, guys. At the end of the day, didn't get it done. That's just the reality. So, frustrating, hard one. But, man, I can't be more proud of the group that I've ever worked with.
So with that, it's my privilege to introduce to you Liam Coen.
Shad, you just made a dream absolutely come true. And we're going to work our tails off to bring championships to Jacksonville.
What is our edge? What is your edge? That thing will help us win games. And that's what this is all about.
You guys make this extremely, extremely gratifying to be a football coach. And this has been an unbelievable honor to be involved with you guys and to be with you guys throughout this whole process, this whole run, this whole season.
It was a fun ride. It was an abrupt end to the season, but I had no expectations to have gotten to the points that they were at this year, so it was really fun, especially these last 2 months on that 8-game win streak.
John, I think both you and I said 9 wins would be a dramatic first season for Liam because it got him back into that conversation. They'd be in the hunt for the division title race in December, and it turned out to be the best division title race I can recall. I mean, you had to win every week to stay ahead of the Texans, and to win the division, to win 13 games, the second most in franchise history, his first year as a head coach, his coordinator's first year in that role, James Gladstone in his first year of his role, and Tony. I mean, it really, the story of this season is one that you could write a book about.
They found their regime, they found their coach, they found their identity.
Their quarterback.
Found their quarterback, and the team in the city got its pride in this thing back. And, it's one of those seasons, Brian. We've seen them all. While you've seen them all, I've seen most. 96, 99, 17. This is on that Rushmore. Their goal is to get one that's above that.
Yes, and I should have sent you the video I took of the stadium. You probably each took one too, of the towels waving right after the flyover and the national anthem. That was as good a scene as any I have ever seen in this building. That includes the divisional game against the Dolphins, where there was just such intensity for that 99 team. It was amazing. And when you look at all the things that are exciting about this, to have that fan base tied in like they are, to believe like it appears they do in what's going on here, I think the future is so bright. I can't be too down. I know there's still people in this room, in this building, that are down about what happened, but I'm smiling because it feels good.
Look, it takes a while to get. It's so hard. You start in March and you go to January. You're not going to walk in here dancing and be fired up for the next practice on the Tuesday after the regular season. But they'll get through that, and then they'll be ready to push that boulder up the mountain. But look, don't think about the boulder right now. If you're a player, or that'll come, and they'll work to get there. So it's exciting to be around this. Really
Very cool. A good visual to go out on as well with the stadium, because that's the last time we'll see it that way. As the renovations will begin, it'll be lower capacity next year, and then it'll look a little bit different after that.
But very cool, by the way, that stadium, those fans had that moment in that stadium, right? Like a lot of fans were there who had been at games for 30 years, 32 years. Won't be like that again, but to have it go out with that, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. We are going to take a break. Everybody in this building is going to take a break. We'll be back with you after Super Bowl, mid-February. So enjoy the rest of the playoff run and Super Bowl Sunday. And then we'll come back and get into things again as we learn about what they're going to do with this team in the offseason. We'll see you then.